Match reaction, Manchester City 3, Man United 0. Your reaction to that game?
The whole game, you've got to look at it and just say to yourself, United could not lay a glove on Manchester City. I thought they were comfortable City. Yes, there was some good talking points, some good moves by United at certain times in that game. But listen, if you don't supply your striker with decent crosses, you're getting nothing. And that's what United got, thoroughly smashed.
Yeah, take us through that first goal for Manchester City in the first half. What did you make of that?
Well, that first half, you look at it and you say, right, they scored that goal, 15 minutes. I looked at it and I thought United were playing well. I thought they were right in the game. They were working hard, fighting, passing the ball, moving. Thought they were holding City. And then one piece of magic, trickery, and then he just crossed it. And he just come flying in. No one marked him. Bruno left him. And Foden there, it just waltzed in, unmarked.
It's not the first time we said it with Bruno. Defensive-wise, players just running off him when there's a bit of chaos football in and around him. What did you make of Luke Shaw, though? We heard Roy Keane on the telly at half-time, and he had a scathing attack for Luke Shaw, like he threw the towel in. What did you make of it? Make of him for that goal and his whole performance, Luke Shaw?
You can't blame Luke Shaw. He's there, tricky. You know what they're like in the box. Players run at you. You can't dive in. But players were standing around, to be honest with you. It was the first time, I thought, in the first 15 minutes, United actually stopped running. They were sort of looking for each other, and that's what happened. But Luke Shaw, you can't criticise Luke Shaw for that. You have to give credit where it's due, and it was the movement, and it was the cross. But what it was, the Foden came running in, and he was unmarked, and that was because that was the first time. I look at it and I think to myself, that first half there, United was still in it. They were still in it, and deservedly so, I thought.
So at half-time, would you have said that a draw was a fair result going in at half-time, or was they deserving of going in there in the lead then, City?
No, City were in the lead. You know, you get your chance and you get that magic. Yes, they were in there. But what I thought about that first half, United were up for it. They were going for it. They were attacking. There was some good moves. But United kept getting stopped by what I constantly always point out. City, the art of the dark arts, as I say. They were fouling constantly, and the ref did nothing about it. And that stopped United because they were in good rhythm. I thought the attack was there. Sesko was there. He was holding it up. He was winning headers. I thought they worked together in that first half, and it was a completely different second half. And I was shocked by it, to be honest.
We did start off bright. First 5 minutes, you're thinking, right, we're going for it here now. We're going to possibly get in back in on drawing terms, and City there just, again, piece of magic in midfield, and Haaland's away.
Well, I look at it and you say to yourself, right, there was hope for United coming out in that second half, and that's what it was. It was hope. And the first 5 minutes, I thought they were doing exactly the same, chasing down, fighting, going forward, and that's what it was. They were pinging the ball left and right, and it was good football. And you thought, right, they're in it. They're in it here, which is unusual when you see United. You see them get a bad start to a first half or a good start, and they had a good start to the second half, but failed again. They were weak. There was 3 moments in that first goal there, in that goal in the second half, where they were weak and they really failed, and that was like slowness of mind. They were waiting for other people again. But I'll tell you something now. They scored 3 goals, City, and people might sort of say, what am I talking about here? But I've got big shoulders. I can handle it. I thought Indy on the 3 goals, really, went down too early every time. I thought that was poor goalkeeping. I'm not criticising him for the goals. I'm just criticising him for, I thought you could have done better, son.
Maybe just stand up a little bit longer, who knows, but it needed doing and sorting out before it got to that, especially in the midfield areas. And then, you know, Maguire got brought on. We're seeing Luke Shaw making a mistake, Maguire as well, and, you know, Haaland was through again to put it 3-0.
Well, it looked like a mountain to climb, and it certainly was when they scored the second goal. But the one piece of magic there from both players, and I've got to highlight this, the Mbumo, when he hit that ball on the volley there, a certain goal, but an absolutely unbelievable save by Donnarumma. And if that would have gone in, I thought United might have got in it, because City was sort of like sitting and waiting and just collecting the ball. But for me, that would have been the chance to get back in it. But as soon as that save went, that was it. But a look at the City, how they performed against United. They were quite happy for Manchester United to cross the ball. And they kept crossing it. And do you know what? They were poor crosses, in my opinion. If you look at how many crosses were there, right, and they were never going to the man, I thought they were poor. But I think City's plan was soak it up, soak it up. It was easy for them.
In that second half, though, you're looking at Sesko up top. I literally cannot remember him touching the ball, to be quite honest with you, out there. But I don't think that's his fault. Far too many times I've seen huge gaps around him, players not close enough to him to try and link up and play off each other.
That system, what we're playing there, makes our centre forwards look like dummies. I am telling you now, makes them look like dummies. He had an excellent first half, Sesko, and then when they don't keep up to the job, what they're supposed to do, right, the forward goes missing, and he never went missing. He was there. He was getting the high ball. He was getting the ball to his feet. He was holding it up in the first half. He never got the service. That system is killing any centre forward what goes in that team, and something has to change. But the only thing he did in that second half was bring Maguire on when there was absolutely no need for it. And from that moment onwards, as we seen the goal, Maguire was part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sesko, like I say, I don't think he'd done really much wrong and he just couldn't get involved in the game. And you've got to look at the players around him as well. Maybe not just as much as the system, and think surely players have got to do better, especially with the crosses. Like you say, it looked like it was one of the tactics today to try and pump more balls into the City's box, but they just defended him.
Yeah, that was the tactics, pump the ball in, and the players were too wide apart. They weren't together like they were in the first half with Sesko. They were too wide apart. It was like, get the ball out wide, go away from Sesko. Well, when Sesko's on his own, he's marked out of the game. He's out of the game. And all they were looking for was get it out wide, get the crosses in, and City, all big fellas, most of them, right?
Sorry, just to interrupt you there. If you're stood on the sidelines there, you're the Manchester United manager for the day here now. You're in that second half. Yeah. City's winning 2-0. Do you change it, the system, when you're seeing your centre forward isolated up there and the game's not going your way?
Change the system. What you needed to be was more solid. You changed the system. We're more wide apart. We're getting cut open. It was 3-0. It could have been more. We had opportunities there. Look, just ignore that last 20 minutes of United having opportunities from outside the area and everything else like that, right? There was no togetherness. City just mopped United up and was sat there just laughing. That's how it seemed to me. Now, getting beat by City is always tough to take, okay? But United never got back in the game through playing together, through the system, through changing the substitutes or anything like that. It was very, very poor management and very poor teamwork. I just looked at the work, the effort. What they put in that first half was clearly not there in the second half. I look at the second half and I say to myself, Ugarte kept up to his work. I liked him. I thought he had an excellent game. Just like De Ligt, I thought had an excellent game. Do you know what I mean? So I just look at Dorgu, for instance, had an excellent game in that first half. Then it just all went pear-shaped. But who went missing the most? I'll tell you, in my opinion, the captain, Bruno, went missing. I thought, again, when you need your captain to do the work, he's not doing the job in that position. For me, it's a failure, and it was clearly there to see.
To be fair, even when he was pushed further forward, when the substitutions were made in the second half, he didn't really have much influence for me anyway. Even some of the balls into the box, crossing or along the floor, it just wasn't good enough, I think, from Bruno today. But many others as well. I thought Dorgu, second half, the crosses, Mbeumo, his crosses and his link-up play, a lot of him, I think, just faded away in that second half, and it wasn't good enough.
Well, Ruben Amorim, right, he's decided to put Bruno there, and he has created a problem what he didn't need to do. He did not need to do it. Now, Bruno has not performed in that position. He has not dominated the game like you want from a captain, and he was never in that game. He was never, like, say, in the fight. And what he did, he came further back so he could get the ball without any pressure on him. He never created anything. So there's a problem there, but it's Ruben Amorim's problem, and it's not going to change. What we're seeing is moments in the game. We're not seeing a consistency, and we haven't seen that under Ruben Amorim yet. You know, we beat Burnley, and I was hoping we may go to City and win another game, making it 2 wins on the trot. The system and the players, right, it just changes. To be honest, it's madness at times watching what's going on.
Yeah, I just think at times in the game, when you look back even at that Fulham away game and you're looking at today, moments in that second half where you just think for 10 or 15 minutes, maybe just change the system, put either 2 up front or 3 in the midfield. Something just needs to change, I think, sometimes to get Manchester United back into the game, but it doesn't seem like he wants to do that, and we all know out there he'll stick to that one way and one way only, and swapping and changing that back 3 all the time, it just doesn't make sense for me.
Listen, what he did in the second half, the manager, get the ball out wide, and he left the centre forward isolated. That was the end of the game, because they stuck to it no matter what. When they were 2-0 down, when they were 3-0 down, they stuck to it. Yes, they changed the personnel, but the changing the personnel, the game was over at 2-0. We all know that. It was disappointing, but I'll tell you, carnage and chaos, right? And Ruben Amorim thinks there's chaos coming. He has to change something there, because you cannot leave a centre forward isolated and expect to win games. This is going to be a rough ride now. It's Chelsea next.
Well, I was surprised that with City today as well, and we've touched on today, you've seen over the years this tiki-taka football, you know, fast-paced possession football, getting straight up the pitch. I thought they were quite happy sitting in today. I'm looking and thinking about it now. That's a worry for me, that Manchester City were quite happy at times letting Manchester United have the ball 25, 30 yards out, because they know they could defend the balls that we're going through.
Every manager what's played Manchester United says, I know how to play you. We all know how to play you. Even the Grimsby manager said it, right? That's how we get organised. We're so open, it's unreal. We're so isolated up front. Every manager knows how to play us, and every team is confident. So how do we expect to go forward when everyone knows how to play Manchester United?
Like I said before, didn't lay a glove on him, to be fair. That best chance was from Mbumo in a volley in the second half, which brought out a world-class save. But apart from that, there was nothing. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Get your thoughts and opinions in that comment section, and smash that like button as well to help support the channel. A rough day for Man United fans. We'll be back tomorrow. See you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.